Good morning and welcome to the Small Business Cheerleader podcast. I'm Nichola from NW Marketing and I'm joined by the lovely Ezereve from Ezereve Music, gorgeous solo performer and also part of a wonderful duo, a champagne duo, and they're the absolute kings and queens of weddings. And I want to talk through all things business, all things journey of how you grow in a business and how you start your own agency. So, Ez, tell me all about, well, give me a little history, a little rundown of what you're all about.
Hello, Nichola. Thank you so much for having me today. It's a real honour to be on your podcast. I'm very excited. So a bit about me. I guess I started out singing. People just asked me to sing at their weddings when I was a child, like when I was still a teenager. And yeah, since then I've just been doing it, and I managed to have some pretty cool gigs. Like I got to sing solo for the Perth Symphony Orchestra a few times, which is pretty exciting with a whole orchestra behind you. And yeah, just basically a full-time wedding and event singer. So tonight, I've got a little gig at the Crown in the Crystal Club. So yeah, it's a really, really nice lifestyle, and it doesn't feel like I'm going to work. So
there's nothing better than finding something that lights you up and then being able to do that as your passion career. I've just loved seeing you on socials and your website, and just seeing all of the amazing places you get to sing and you get to perform, and it just looks like the dream for someone who loves music as much as you, because you were performing back when you were 16, is that right? When you first started singing out, as you said, for family and at events?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I think what I love most about it is actually seeing all the fancy toilets at all the really fancy places.
Oh my gosh, the Crown Towers toilets had those freak me out every time I've been in there, I must say, because they have the biggest doorknobs, and I just have to take photos every time. So I hear you when it comes to that. But being able to provide such amazing music for these events, because we all know that events are made by the music and they're made by the atmosphere that comes from performers. So you guys, from yourself as growing and becoming a wonderful solo performer, you've then been able to look at growing into a duo with Riley, and you're now Champagne Duo. So explain how that worked. That was like a year ago, was that right?
Yeah, it was about a year ago that, maybe a little bit before that, Riley messaged me because he noticed in Facebook wedding groups that we were getting recommended quite a lot. And he was like, "Oh, who's this?" And I was like, "Oh, this must be my competition, you know." And then he sent me a message saying like, "Oh, why don't we have a jam and maybe we could be a duo and work together because we're getting recommended so much." And so we did. We had a jam. We put a video up just in his backyard with his dog of us singing, and we had a booking straight away pretty much because a couple was looking at either booking him or myself, and then they were like, "Oh, we'll have you together." And so we thought, wow, this must be a thing.
Yeah, and you guys are just booked out solid. I mean, you've literally you are the people to go to for weddings and corporate events. And I just think that alone must be just so satisfying to see something you love be able to package up into a duo and become the ultimate for Perth weddings and your events, of course. But something I really want to talk about is your journey as a business owner through this. So you've become a solo. You obviously can still do that as part of your solo work, and then a duo, and now the agency. So how did this come about?
Yeah, well, when Riley and I started, we didn't even know what to expect. We thought it might just be a side thing that people might want sometimes, but a lot of his brides then said, "Oh, can you please add Ez on to your booking with us?" And then a lot of my brides said, "Can you please add Riley on?" So we ended up with over like 120 weddings with him and I just for 2021. And we were just like, whoa, what is going on? And then even next year, we've already got 50 bookings for 2022. We've got bookings into 2023. And so because we were so booked out, we were still getting lots of people asking us to play at their wedding. But we couldn't obviously be like at two places at the same time. So we thought we could just start booking out musicians in our place. And it was something Riley was already doing for venues on a smaller scale. He did it so he would always have a gig. So he would say to the venue, I'll organise your roster so that I can always have a gig. And so he already had a bank of trusted musicians experience that he knew we could rely on. And I had a few musician contacts as well. So yeah, we kind of said, let's start Champagne Agency. And now when we're booked out, people can, I guess, go to our website or to the Instagram and see which artists they like and book them instead of us.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's the trust though, isn't it? Because people are coming to you through word of mouth or having seen you before, and they're obviously wanting to book you, and they know that that may not happen because of how busy you are, and they know that they can trust that you would then be putting them on to people who would be of similar ilk, as they say, and that trust is what's building that agency too, I imagine, because people would be recommending whatever you say would be what they would need.
Oh, thank you. And we're really sort of particular about obviously who we have. Like, we have lots of people, you know, sending us their videos and saying, oh, I want to be part of your agency and stuff. But as for the people that we have like on our list for weddings, we're very particular with who we've picked. And it's kind of been tested as well, because we had a much bigger list that we were just sending to brides, and then it just ended up being the same people that they wanted. So we kind of condensed the list and like, okay, these are the people that are in demand and reliable. And not just that, they have to have a really good personality as well.
No, that's 100%, because ultimately it comes back to you guys. It's your reputation as Champagne Agency when it comes to, I know myself, I do a lot of retail marketing work, and we have a lot of entertainers for school holidays or family events, and we get the same requests for the same entertainers for that same reason, because people love them. We know they show up and give it every time, and at times when we've maybe deviated from those, we've seen the difference, that it wasn't exactly what we wanted, and we've niched down. You've probably had to do that too in business and realize, well, no, this is what we stand for, these are our values for our business, and this is the type of performers we want on our books, and that will build your brand. Would that be right? I would say that would build a really good quality brand.
Yeah, definitely. I think like you got to have your sort of niche and know what you're going for. I mean, we've had some pubs say like, can you organize our music for us? And we've kind of just said no, because you're not really aligned with what we're trying to achieve here. And there's other agencies for that. So I think rather than trying to say, oh, yes, for the money and try and be everything to everybody, just like saying, no, this is what we do, and sticking to that. And then you'll attract more of that work that you're after. So
yeah, 100%.
I kind of think about it like, this is sound weird, but I had this compost heap. And I just thought, like, how do these worms know? Like, I've just started this compost and they just come out of nowhere, obviously the ground, but within weeks, you have all these worms that you've attracted, and you're just like, how does that happen? And then if you start to not look after it, then you'll find there's the worms going, there's lots of ants in it. And so I guess just whatever you make, you're going to attract that. So
look, you know, I'm 100% behind that, because that's exactly what I teach when I do client coaching, is that thing of stop putting your arrows out everywhere and thinking you're going to miss out, because it will not attract. It's same with the worms, you know, it's if you're putting it all out there, I mean, how is anyone ever going to know exactly what it is you do? They're just going to assume, oh, you're that broad one that does all the broad things. And I don't know, are you really who I want for this? Whereas, you know, when you're doing your marketing and you're advertising, like your website and your socials, you can see exactly what it is that you do and what you stand for. And if I was a bride looking and that spoke to me, well, then of course, you know, because you're trying to get that message across, aren't you? You know that who you are trying to align with, you know who that is in your brides, and they know who you are. And I think if we can give any advice to business owners, it's definitely about finding that niche and then owning that niche, isn't it?
Yeah,
Becoming
definitely
the authority in that niche, which you guys are, because people know they go to you. If they can't get you guys, they know that they'll get someone who will be still aligned. And I think that's really important. And you guys have done that. And I mean, kudos to you, because you know, and it's a hard gig, you know, to try and grow, which you did, and then realize that you could actually make this into an agency and provide work for other artists and build them up as well. It's like a community, isn't it, really?
It's so beautiful, actually, because when I started, it was very, like, lonely and isolating because it's just me going to weddings by myself. But now it's like we have this whole team of people, and if one of them has a wedding, someone, you know, asks them if they can do a wedding, they say, "Oh, we can't, but someone else in the team can," and refers it back into the little family. And so it's really beautiful, and it's just so nice to sort of get rid of that competition thing. It's just like, because I've just never been into that. There's enough for everybody, and you know, I mean, there's enough people getting married. Like, we don't need to fight each other. Like,
no, and as you said, it becomes very lonely if you end up not wanting, you know, if you're going competition over community. I mean, that is a lonely road. And you know, and it's also, like you guys have learned and done the right way, it's not scalable, is it? There's only so many weddings for each person. And if that's what you want, that's also cool. But if you're looking to scale and grow and build a community and things like that, that's where it comes to lifting others up and providing that community, because that's the only way that everyone can grow. And I'd love to think that that is more so the norm now than not.
Yes.
And I know in a lot of business groups, like how we met and things like that, it's more about, you know, showing up and providing support for everyone in whatever, you know, industry they're in. And as you say, there's enough work. So someone can always refer to someone else if they're in the same industry.
Yes, exactly.
Relationship, and you know exactly what they're like and what their values are. And you can say, oh, well, look, I'm busy for the next few months, but hey, so-and-so, they'll knock it out of the park for you. And you know, that is what it's about. I just think it's way too lonely to do the whole, you know, it's all about me, and you know, I've got to keep my little, you know, niche to me. Because I just think it's way too lonely for people, especially these days. You know, everyone feels isolated enough as it is. When you can build a community, I mean, I think that's wonderful. So tell me, what's the next step? What's the next plan for you guys? It's been a year. You've been together during Champagne Duo. You've got the agency. Are there any big visions? Like, because, you know, I love doing vision, mission, core values. So I always love to hear what everyone's big, hairy, audacious goal is for the next 10 years. Is there something that scares you a little bit that you guys have planned?
Yeah, well, I guess we've got a business coach to sort of help us, which I've never even had a business coach before, but I just thought, you know what, I can't be bothered learning from mistakes. Like, when scaling, I just need someone to tell me what to do. So I've done that. I guess the other thing is getting some software for the agency, because we've pretty much just been, you know, relying on email and messages on Instagram and messages on Facebook. And so we're looking to change it so that there's a portal system and it will all be in one place, all the bookings in one place. You can see who's replied to what, just to make sure that we don't make any mistakes. And also just to grow the agency. Like, why can't it be like statewide? You know, why can't it be nationwide? I mean, there's no reason. And it just be a big wedding musician hub.
Yeah, I love that. And
and
I think that's exactly right, isn't it? It's the systems and processes. When we go from being solo preneurs to going into scalable business model, it's the systems and the processes that we need the help with. And it's the coaching to get the mindset of what that next level looks like. Like you just said, that's exactly right, without having the mistakes.
Yes.
Make you go in a linear, as opposed to the ups and downs that we tend to make if we think we have to do it on our own. And again, you're part of a community, aren't you, with a coach? Part of I mean, I love masterminds. I'm part of a mastermind, and a mastermind allows you to be with, obviously, people in similar stages of business to you, but also have that mentoring from someone who's been there and done that and can give you that advice. And I would highly recommend that too. And I think scaling, you have to have someone in your corner that you can go to, because again, it becomes really lonely if you're trying to do it by yourself.
Yeah, and also you don't want to make those mistakes as you grow, because that's your reputation. So I've got someone who has got a passive agency, and they've made it passive. So that's our goal as well. Like if we can grow the agency and then have someone else running it, but we still are in charge, if you know what I mean, but doing the sort of day-to-day things, and as much computers that can do as much as they can, just so it's not so much on us. And we can do more of the wedding gigs. And so yeah, that's a bit exciting. And also with the agency, I noticed a lot of musicians are really shy about promoting themselves. Like, I don't know, we're just a bit shameless. We're like, look everyone, we sing at weddings. You know, other musicians don't even have videos on their Instagram, and I'm just like, people can't even hear what you sound like. They don't even know how important it is to have those videos. And we did a thing, we had a filming day with musicians where we said, look, everybody can chip in an amount and we'll all make promo videos together, and then we'll upload them. And then we've used that for the agency to get more bookings and made lots of Instagram reels. Oh, the Instagram reels have been so great for this. Yeah, Riley and I managed to find ourselves at an Australian cricketer's wedding who saw us on an Instagram reel. So there you go.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I've said to you when I've seen you, like, your videos are amazing, and that's what made me have that sense, you know, of who you guys were. And that's what I think is so important. And video, as we know, Instagram's now said video is the thing that's going to be seen the most now, and where they're heading with Instagram. So reels being a major part of that. So as a community, again, see how there's that support for your artists coming from you as being your core values, and driving that in providing them with that support. And I think that is just an amazing service that you're doing for them, because yes, some musicians are great, aren't they, at performing with their art, but self-promotion just seems like a completely different kettle of fish. And if you can provide that in a way where they don't feel like they're left to do it alone, then they can only grow, because video is where it's at. And the more you can see people perform, like you said, people with reels or videos have been plucked from smaller accounts because people have seen what they do. And I mean, that's amazing. Where else do you get that level of awareness? It's insane. So yeah, I just think that's amazing. And it's so great to hear that you've got a great vision, like a 10-year goal for where you want to see the agency, and you're working towards that, because a lot of people just put out fires day to day, and they have a vision in the back of their brain, but it's not really something that's tangible, or they're working towards, or they're having support in.
Yes.
So I think that's one thing I can recommend to people, is at least have some sort of vision, a mission for how you're going to get there, and try to get those core values in place. Like you say, like, what will you and won't you stand for in your business? Because that will help you attract those aligned clients, or, like for you, aligned musicians to be part of the agency, because they'll be drawn to you, won't they? Because they know what you guys are about. And I think people underestimate the power of that, I feel.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you.
That's all right. So what would be one final tip that you would think, if you were talking to a small business owner and they were, you know, solopreneur by themselves? What have you learned the most in going from being solopreneur up to the agency, or just anything in between? What would you recommend that you've learned, or things they could explore to help them on the journey?
Yeah, sure. I think, like, the best thing to do is just to do a good job. I think, like, to think of each wedding, for example, that I do, or whatever it is that the other person does, if you do each one of those well, then it's all going to add up. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing. And I think I would also say, I guess it depends on your business as well, but I think really being yourself on social media, so people can build that connection with you, is really important. Yeah, so I guess be yourself and do a good job at what you do, and it will just naturally grow by itself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's showing up, isn't it? It's showing up in the work you do, and making sure that, you know, you are showing up in there. And also it's about making sure that when you do show up, you are authentic, because people will see through bullshit, won't they? They can, they can see through when you're just all about whatever. People will see through it, and people are always, You know, the saying that is more prevalent now than ever, you know, people buy from people, and people buy from people they trust, and trust can only come out by showing up ultimately. And that's what you're doing for your bands under your agency, just allowing them to show up, and they'll do a great job, and then that will refer. Because when we have top clients, they refer, don't they? They refer you to other people. And that's the highest form of getting aligned clients, are people that have been referred, because they've done all the hard work already. They've already done all that for you. So the more you can clone those top clients, the more you'll get referrals, and the more your business will grow, like you said, from doing a good job. And ultimately that's what it comes down to.
And I think lots of video as well. I really think the way we've grown is definitely been through videos.
Yeah. And
we just
get in front of the camera.
Absolutely. We actually get about once a month, maybe once every 2 months if we're really busy, but we have a content day where we film our videos and we take photos, and I get my hair done, and I do my makeup. And I think that's really, really important to make time for that, because we've gotten so much work just from that.
And like you know, all marketing people will tell you to batch create your content, so that, you know, you're just setting aside one time, you're doing your content. If you're doing your reels, set aside an hour or two a week and just batch out those reels, so you don't have to do your hair and makeup and change clothes 100 times a week. You know, just block out an hour or two, and just, even if it's, you know, 1 or 2 reels to start off with a week, and just start batch contenting, is that a word? Putting the batching your content, so that you're not feeling overwhelmed, and you're not having to do things on the run, and you can have more of a brand. It feels like you're more in control of your brand if you're batching your content, because it's being created with a strategy, and it's being created with a proper purpose. And that's the difference from just throwing something up, as opposed to actually having a strategy. It doesn't have to blow your mind, and doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just has to be part of your regular routine with your business. It's a marketing. Everyone needs to have some form. So whatever that looks like for you, batching is a good way to start, because then you don't feel overwhelmed, I find. And I try and recommend our clients, especially if they're scared of reels or scared of video, to do it, batch it when you're all ready and you're all done up, and then you can just edit that down into lots of different content.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll get used to it, you know, you get used to putting your face out there.
And we all think that, oh, we're too boring, or no one wants to see us. And then you got to look back at yourself. Who do you watch? And I'm absolutely mesmerized by most mundane things that people do on reels, or if they do in stories, because I go, oh, is that right? Is that what they do? And then I feel like I know them. So again, buy from people. People buy from people they trust. You don't think it. You think you're boring, but people are actually like, oh, is that what she does? Oh, that looks. I got a job from a reel because somebody thought, oh, you kept showing up in my reels, and I thought, oh, she looks like she knows what she's doing. And they just got in contact because I showed up as me, and they were like, oh, I need someone who does that, and that chick seems to know what she's doing, and I seem to like her, and I'll give her a message out of the blue for one reel.
Yeah, amazing.
So, you know, this is the power of the reel. So it's time. It's time now. So why not get on board while it's giving the algorithm a good run?
Absolutely.
So while we're talking about algorithm, I want everyone to know where to find you. So as we finish up, I want people, where can they find more about this, and where can they find more about the agency, you, and Champagne Duo?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, I guess I've got my own stuff, like my own website, Ezereve, and my own Instagram, my own Facebook. Otherwise, there's Champagne Duo, and we're on, again, we've got a website, and we've got Facebook and Instagram. I think we're Champagne Wedding Duo on Facebook and Instagram. And then our agency is Champagne Agency on Instagram and Facebook. So that's where you'll find us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, your website alone is amazing. I love it. Your solo stuff website, it's just beautiful, your images and your videos and things. And the same with socials. So if you want to find out more, head to those. I'll put the links in the obviously in the YouTube video upload, and you can find them on the socials when we upload it. But definitely check the guys out, and also just to see how they do their videos and their content, because I think it's something to aspire to in regards to being seen. So even if you're not after wedding music as such, but you want to just support and show and have a look and see how things, you know, are done well, check out the guys. And it's been awesome talking to you. And I think there's lots of snippets and nuggets of knowledge in there for those people looking to scale, about trying to get the systems in place, getting support from business coaches, so you're not making all the mistakes. You can get that support and grow quicker. And also just finding that niche and owning that niche, and making sure you're finding aligned clients and aligned staff or contractors. I think that's what I've taken away, that it really works if you put in the effort.
Make that compost.
Yes, that's what I'm going to name this podcast. Watch your worms. And then people can just make what they want of that. Watch your worms grow, and then they can make what they want out of that. I've decided that's the name of this podcast now.
Love it, love it, love it.
All right, it's been great to talk, Ez, and everyone check the guys out online, and it's been lovely to talk, and we'll catch you online.
Thank you so much, Nichola.
See ya.
See you.